first response. Was to ask to protect them and watch over them. Heavenly Father, we ask that you be with our employees in the courthouse. All of our employees in the county. Watch over them and bless them and keep them upon them. Heavenly Father, give us the knowledge and the best decisions.
Supposed to be discussion of rundown properties in the county municipal, employee transfer, and then the Dove Board also has information regarding power of attorney for, um, oh, it's 10 o'clock, the one hearing at 10 o'clock. I don't do a lot of writing, but
I mean,
when they meant something, when they touch it, of course, it's kind of fun with, except when I get the AI, what it thinks somebody said, and what they actually said.
company, fire company. No, that's. Line five. On the second. That resulted. Collect a lot of money this time, it's collect a little. Dog warden had, five dogs picked up, 127 complaints. I'm shocked that that's all they are on 30 days. You think we can call for a world today. She sold or give away 5 dogs. She has had 8 animal bites, 188 rabies shots last month in April. There was 8 people exposed, humans exposed to rabies. So far, I reckon all the says rabies specimen for test was 0. So, but that was rabies is still there. Okay. Then we'll come down to our regional jail bill. Regional jail bill for the month April, $34,661.38. So. State should be picking that up. Yeah, there's lots of little pullback there. So. First Energy. We have a credit of $643.58. One individual jail. And First Energy sent out about a need to access existing transmission right of way adjacent to your property to complete the environmental surveys. Survey will be expected within late April. So it says we appreciate your cooperation with our agency and contractors in the field as they proceed with this work. So, County Transit Authority, have financial statement there.
Whole thing's very.
No, for the ending period of June 30, 24 from 2023. We've got a thing here. Brianna Ernest is going to be reappointed to the Board of Health. State of West Virginia, State Fire Marshal, County Commission Division, 1X, 105 West Street, Kaiser. So it's,
I assume this won't be posted. Have it posted, I assume it's posted.
here.
Oh, yeah, we get that.
All right, so do we have, motion for any board appointment?
Make a motion, we approve Brenna Ernest reappointment to the Board of Health.
Approve that all. She's a good member. Okay, update on the courthouse, annex.
Yeah, so, it continues to move along. You all probably saw yesterday, I sent out an email to Fairchance. There are quite a few punch list items that haven't been taken care of that I'm not very pleased with. Hopefully we can get that taken care of shortly. Krista has been moved, the circuit clerk has been moved into her new space. There's a couple of items that need to be completed in there. But they are working out of that space now. It actually turned out very nice. If you guys haven't seen it, a little bit of paint and new ceiling and new lights, went a long way. The concrete behind the courthouse annex, I have been reaching out to that contractor and unfortunately I'm not having much success.
For what?
The concrete behind the annex
annex.
that
Yeah, that.
is deteriorating. So I'm gonna try to reach out one more time, and if I don't have any success, I'm going to send a letter. So I'll keep you all apprised on that.
Hey,
We are,
I wanted to add to your picture before I forget it.
Mhm.
Have you been up the steps and looked on the bottom of the steps? There's no trim equipment. The bottom of the steps, you go up in the annex, but the ones there as you come in, security, look at the bottom on the right.
yeah, it's probably on the punch list. The punch list is quite long.
But I didn't see it,
but
but
I'll
I
make
wanted to
sure
bring
we're-
it to your attention.
Okay. Yeah, there's many things over there that really need addressed, which is why I sent the email to Zach yesterday, because I'm pretty. Well, it's not just you, like, every time I walk over there, I see stuff, and I'm like, we keep progressing on the other buildings, but I've got two more buildings that aren't even done, like, we're 95% there, but just finish these last couple of things. Is the hot water heater 1 year later? It's a year, okay. Well, for the law center, so D&D did come. When they came, they recommended a recirculation line. So, way out of sorts, probably. Okay. So they recommended a recirculation line. I got a price for that. But after talking to some of the deputies, they really wanted the hot water heaters. So I also got a quote on that. Now, to be clear, you guys wanted the heaters too. We called D&D and that's what they were supposed to come for, but when they came, they recommended the recirc line. So a recirc line is $2,015. The hot water heaters, bear with me for a second, are $1,800 for the plumbing and for the heater itself. Now, those heaters though, 2 of them require a 30 amp breaker with cable, and the other one requires a 70 amp breaker with cable. So to install and plumb those is $1,800. To get the electric to all 3 of those is another $45. Which the electric was way more than I was expecting. However, so the upstairs of that building has a new panel box, but it's a 100 amp panel box because the load on that floor isn't great. There's the service up there has a reducer on it that goes to the 100 amp panel box. So in the future, we could put more power in there if we wanted to, but that 100 amp panel box is nearly full. You'd have to put tandem breakers in, put the 230 amps in, to make that work. And then the 70 amp can't be ran from that 100 amp panel box. It has to come from clear downstairs. So it is quite the run, for the 70 amp breaker. So I need to know what you all want me to do with this at this point.
I'd like to go over and look at it after the meeting. I would like to go over and look at it. I told my folks today, I haven't had a chance to stop and look. I'm gonna look at it. I'm thinking of a different route as far as getting rid of the 2-inch line that's there. Maybe run the 1-inch line and out of that 2 inches of conduit type thing.
So then if you only have a 1 inch line going from the hot water tank out, it will take them as long to get water, plus just completely get rid of that mixing valve.
Which is one of the things Tom has, well, and that's what Tom's been saying from the beginning, either replace the mixing valve with, something that doesn't require as much flow, or just get rid of the mixing valve.
So that would be a lot cheaper. Just for
Yeah.
Well, we haven't priced that, because you want me to the heater, so I can't tell you that for sure. But that's, it would certainly be cheaper than this. I didn't expect hot water heaters to be this much. When I got the $1,800 quote, I'm like, oh, well, that's reasonable. And then when I realized we needed the electrical, and I don't know, it's the electrician we use for everything. Like, I'm sure the first thing I'm going to hear is, well, he rips you off. But we've priced other guys, and he's always been the lowest. But I also don't want to keep beating a dead horse. Like, if everybody's going to be $4,000, I don't need to drag 3 more electricians to that building if I can find, even another one.
Now, is this gonna take care of the shower?
No.
This isn't
Just
a
has
shower
anything
issue
to
at
do
all.
with there.
So we need to include that, right?
That's a whole nother issue.
And-
Struck off the agenda.
And we can't even find anyone to come look at it. B&D wanted $2,300 just to
That didn't
replace
even
it.
have, that didn't even deal with the water.
Right, that was literally just replacing the base of the existing shower. Well, when you do stuff at your house and you can pay a guy, your buddy in cash, it's not a big deal. When it's commercial and insurance is required, and it's just contractors see dollar signs when they hear it's for government. And it's unfortunate. So yeah, Dutch wants to go over there and take a look at that. I do think getting rid of that mixing valve and what Dutch mentioned about running the 1 inch and just using the 2 inches of conduit, they're not gonna have hot water in 10 seconds, but they'll probably have it in 45. So,
How long does it take
right.
now?
Well, it depends. If you go to the mop sink, you can have it in less than 2 minutes, but if you're running on the sinks, it takes, because there's hardly any flow at all. And then while BK Electrical was here, I had them look at the 50 amp outlet, the 50 amp plug for the outdoor events. It would be $1,900 to have that wire ran, the outlet installed, and the breaker put in the panel.
That's not kind of buying the spider box or whatever.
No, that's just for the wiring and the panel, and all that.
For a 50 amp plug,
Yeah.
that's for all the outdoors. There's one plug out there and then using the spider box from there. But that way nobody can come up and start charging your cell phone and all that other stuff on a 50 amp. Yeah.
Well, and technically we could do anything, the conduit's there, but when we talked about it, if you put 110 outlets there, what happens is if you're trying, well, Jason's situation, trying to run a hot dog warmer and a cotton candy and a sound machine, if you've got one 110 outlet, that 15 or 20 amp breaker's still gonna blow. Or if we put a 50 amp in there and just ran a spider box or a gang box, you could run a much larger load. And then you don't have to run 10 extension cords back to the wall. You can put the gang box wherever you are and plug everything in right there. So you have one
1800?
1900. This one definitely seemed high to me because he just put 3 50 amp outlets in here for Cody, 1200. However, it was also only a foot of run. This is,
How far you gotta go to get that breaker box?
it's
One side of the building. to
one
the
side of
other.
the addition clear to the other,
Yeah.
up above the ceiling. And which, with that being said, though, I'm about to put a 50 amp outlet in a camp, and I just ordered the cable I needed for. I ordered 120 feet for $240.
Yeah.
For AWG aluminum.
That's where a lot of the cost is, the length of the wire, and the longer you go, the heavier wire you need.
And Ron did say the breakers we're using are extremely expensive. Or if you look in that panel box.
Depends on what box they used. Yeah.
Oh, I already emailed him back and told him that. Yeah, so that box, they are expensive breakers. I don't know how much they cost. They do. Now, that's not something we need to do today. It's not something.
Right.
honestly, Ron would prefer us not do it till the building's signed over to us.
Yeah.
Ron being the electrician. I think that's what I have on that. Eileen can talk to you about the dedication.
Just the outside box, but also help with Strawberry Festival, anything like that for future events that we have out in the courtyard. I'll probably do that.
What meeting did you, what the right meeting?
It wasn't up there on the screen. There was no.
There wasn't a meeting.
There wasn't a
selected
schedule.
today.
Oh, yeah, it doesn't matter. You just choose commission meeting.
Yeah, I just hit meeting.